Good evening, everybody. Keith here. Hope everybody's doing okay, enjoying life, living life, loving life. We're going to have a discussion here tonight about mail and hopefully help people overcome some of the oppression of the financial hardships by teaching you how to send your mailings for free. And so we're going to discuss tax percue. Before we get started, we're going to play a little music, give people a chance to get on. So just take a few minutes to enjoy the music. We'll be back here as soon as this is over. Hopefully everybody enjoys this. And we'll be talking about tax percue as well as some other issues with mailings. Hi, Carla. Let me get you on here real quick. Carla, do you see a? It's not giving me a thing to add you here. Let me see if we can do this. I think that's only going to send you an invite. Carla, if you've got a thing down on the bottom of your screen that says you want to join the video here, please do so. Otherwise, I'm going to have to do this video as best I can without you. I don't know what's going on here. Usually I can invite people. So hold on, people. I'm going to play a little music, give people a chance to get on here and see if I can get this thing figured out with my guest. Enjoy the music.
I see you with the liquor store, leaving with the cheapest kind of beer on the shelf. You ain't living on the street, but you barely making rent, and I relate because I'm struggling myself. I see you smile at the clerk when you fumble through your purse. I just wish I had a little more to help. I imagine where you living, how you feeling, what you loving, who you'll be if you can make it out your hell. I see you at the bus stop, looking at the sidewalk, smoking half a cigarette, waiting for a ride. Kinda limp when you walk and look away. When you talk, you're ashamed, I can see it in your eyes. Probably got a NASCAR shirt and a car that you love, but you're here because you're too afraid to drive. It's been almost 10 years since the day that you crashed, can't forget about the little boy's life. Everybody's got a story, if you look a little closer, you can see it in the wrinkles in their face. They can hide it in the silence, they can bury it and fight it, but it comes out when the hair is turning gray. You can feel it if you touch them, you can tell that they are troubled, you can hear the story running through their veins. We all travel different roads and we put on different clothes, underneath it all we're really on the same. We've all got problems and we all feel alone. We've all been haunted by the secrets we hold. We could fill our coffins with the rocks they have thrown, or we could build our castles with the sticks and the stones. We've all got problems and we all feel alone. We've all been haunted by the secrets we hold. We could fill our coffins with the rocks they have thrown, or we could build our castles with the sticks and the stones. I see you sitting on the front porch playing with a radio, looking to the sky. Probably living in that house all alone these days, trying to find a better way to pass time. Got a wheelchair ramp leading up to the door, I can see that you walk just fine. Probably hate it because it isn't getting used anymore, and you only ever built it for your wife. Everywhere that I walk, see you on the sidewalk, begging for a little loose change for some dough. Probably got a mama and a papa spending everything they make, trying to clean you up enough to take you home. Used to have a good job, used to get good grades, used to have big dreams, and he lost hope. When your girlfriend died, giving birth to your son, you're the father that'll probably never know. Everybody has a tale that they're too afraid to tell. You can see it in the cracks in their hands. They can cover it with smiles if you walk a couple miles in their shoes and you know where they stand. Everyone who really lived had to climb out of a ditch they were in before they found the right path. If you want to know the truth about what we've been going through, then try to put your phone away so you can act. We've all got problems and we all feel alone. cause the system's tearing down. We are the people working to survive. We are more than just our 9 to 5. We are the shopping malls and streetcars. We are one. It's time to tell them just who we are. We've all got problems and we all feel alone. We've all been haunted by the secrets we hold. We could fill our coffins with the rocks they have thrown. Or we could build our castles with the sticks and the stones. We've all got problems and we all feel alone. We've all been haunted by the secrets we hold. We could fill our coffins with the rocks they have thrown. Or we could build our castles with the sticks and the stones. We've all got problems and we all feel alone. We've all been haunted by the
Okay, people. I don't know. My guest doesn't. I don't seem to be able to get anything to bring her on. I'm still looking, trying to figure this out. But her name is Carla Pickett, and what we'll do is we'll go ahead and get started here, and hopefully we can do this through comments. So Carla, please feel free to help fill in with comments. But first, we're going to get started out. I posted a post here a couple days ago in regards to mailing that you receive, and I filled out another one today, and you'll see there's a bunch of stuff on here. And if you look back in my posts, and I'll post a new one tonight after I do this video of what's going on here. But basically, on this envelope here, if we look up here in this top corner, and everything's going to be backwards because of the way the video works. But you see up here in the top top left-hand corner, there's just an address. There's no entity listed, okay? And so what I did, first thing on the envelope, you'll see in the red ink, it says all rights adhered to. And then I wrote see styles manuals for glossa, referring to foreign languages. And then under the address, I made a notation on the federal zone per zip code. And then I also made the note, like I said, there's no known sender on this. And I referred them to see the law of the flag. Anytime somebody makes any kind of presentment to a foreign jurisdiction, they're supposed to abide by the law of the flag. And that's why when we go into these courts and we see that American flag with the gold fringe on it, it tells us we're an admiralty court under maritime jurisdiction. Maritime jurisdiction is contract law. That's what tells us we're in a commercial venue. And then I put down, you'll see over here on the right hand side, look at that. Look at that real close. That's not a real stamp. That's just ink on the envelope. And when we look at the real stamps under the definition of lawful money, a stamp, a United States stamp, falls under that category. It maintains its value because it is backed by substance internationally through the UPU, the UN. Okay? So when we see this, it has no value. So I put a note on here, metered stamp. No consideration. In any kind of contract, you have to give it consideration, and that is the value. So when we put postage stamps on documents and envelopes, it gives those documents and envelopes value. It's called consideration. And you can find that definition also in the Uniform Commercial Code. Then I put down here a note, also see 15 USC 1692. Now, Title 15 of the U.S. Code, that's what USC stands for, is U.S. Code, United States Code. And I put down Title 15 U.S. Code 1692A, 15 USC 1692E, Title 15 USC 1692G. Now, the A is in reference to the definitions. E is in reference to fraudulent representations. And G is in regards to verification of debt. Now, the Title 15 of the United States Code. I think there's 54 codes of the United States Code, but there's two different sets. And what I mean by two different sets is some of them are called positive law with what's called enactment clauses. Those are positive laws, and they fall under international law. Now, anything that doesn't have that enactment clause is not a positive law. Now, that means that it only pertains to the jurisdiction within that it's stated within. Okay, so Title 15 of the United States Code only applies to the United States. So understand that. This is in regards to their own regulations that they're supposed to abide by. And when we talk about the Title 15 of the United States Code, Section 1692, A is the definitions, like I said. E is the fraudulent elements or misrepresentation, and G is the validation of debt. And when they violate these things, I don't have the information offhand, but I believe that carries a $25 million fine and up to 30 years in jail. So this is very strong language to them. So understand that. Then right in the middle of the envelope, I put fraud vitiates all from discovery. Return for fraud. And that's basic and simple language. Now, on the bottom here, we see there's a window. It's a windowed envelope. Okay? And I've got that covered up because it's nobody else's business what's in the envelope. And what I want to do here is explain that under United States Code, Title 18, Section 8, and this code is positive law, so this is falling under international law. 18 of the United States Code, Section 8, talks about obligation of the United States. Okay? And when we talk about an obligation of the United States, we're talking about the citizen. And right here in that windowed envelope, underneath this little piece of paper here is the name of a United States citizen. And it is an obligation of the United States. It is not you. Okay? Understand that. The only correct way to describe your name is in correct parse syntax grammar. And you'll see me put that down, and I'll put it down with this envelope, with this post when I do the envelope tonight. You'll see the correct parse syntax grammar of writing your name. Anything else is a foreign language known as a title, and that is a fictional entity known as a corporate person, an artificial corporate person. Okay? Now, under UCC, again, positive law, 9-307, Section H. 9-307 of the Uniform Commercial Code, Section H, gives you the location of the debtor. And it clearly and explicitly says the United States is located in the District of Columbia. That is the debtor. And it is known as a United States citizen, deceased, corporate artificial person under fiduciary assignment of the U.S. Department of State per Title 31 of the United States Code, Section 1321, subsection 73. And you'll see that. And I can't remember if Title 31 is a positive law or not. But you can find that. Just Google or put in your search engine, is Title 31 of the United States Code a positive law, and it will tell you. Then, in regards to the window here, when we address things, like I said up here, there's no known sender, okay? And when we look at this window, that's not, the information inside that window is not on the envelope. That is on the cargo within the shipment, okay? It is not addressed. Not addressed. There is no address on it. That is just information within the cargo. And they conveniently give you a window so you can look in the ship and believe that it's the address, and it's not. And then along with that, I put CUPU, Universal Postal Union, 601.6.3, windowed envelopes tap test. Now, when it comes to these windowed envelopes and that address, in regards to people that are secured party creditors and stuff, if you're having issues with these people, even as a secured party creditor, and you do this, and any part of that address that doesn't show up in the window, if it slides over here so you can't fully read it, it fails. When you do a tap test, you do it on all four sides. Check this side. If it remains within the window up and down this way, it's good. Turn it upside down. Tap it. If it remains within the window fully legible, it's good. Do it on this side. Tap it. If it remains within the window fully readable, it's good. However, on this particular one here, we do this and you can't read a portion of the first name, address, or anything. So it fails the tap test. And that's a violation of Uniform Postal Union regulation. That's international law. So this is void. Period. Period. Just by that alone. Let alone there's no consideration, there's no addressee, there's no address. So it's bullshit. And then down at the bottom, and this according to Uniform Postal Union regulations again, is non-human readable code. It's a foreign language. So look on the bottom of your envelopes and see this stuff right here. See, that's not English. There's a bunch of letters and numbers. And that's part of the zip code saying it's federal zoning. And then you have a barcode. None of this is readable. You cannot read that. You have to know their language in order to be able to read it. And that's against Uniform Postal regulations. And then again, I made a note on the other side. Federal zone per use of zip code, not addressed properly. Info pertains to cargo that lies within the shipment of the envelope. Okay? So understand that stuff. And again, I'll post a picture of this along with the correct parse syntax of my name, so you guys can see how that's done. Now, when it comes to tax percue, when you see the words tax percue, and you see it spelled T-A-X-E, now in common English it's spelled T-A-X, and when we see T-A-X-E, most people will recognize that's a form of French. So then when we see P-E-R-C-U, and we don't find that in the English language, that tells us because it's not English. Okay, so we have to look that up. So we put in our search engine, translate English, or put in percue English translation, and it'll tell you what it means. And percue means perceived. So tax percue means tax perceived. So when we talk about these stamps, the stamp is a tax because it's taxing you. It's taxing your wallet to have to spend however much money the Postal Service, not the United States Post Office. The United States Post Office doesn't charge you. The United States Post Office employs a service agency as part of the government, and that service agency is who is charging you. Okay? So remember that United States Postal Service is the one that's charging you for these tax stamps. And that's what they are. They're tax stamps. They're taxing you for doing a governmental duty that they're already paid for by the income taxes paid through the IRS. Okay? So understand that. This is a double tax when they charge you. And that's why we have this thing called tax percue, where as American nationals, you can send your mail for free without tax, because that again, like I said, it's a tax. Okay? And then before we go any further, one other thing I want to talk about, if I can get over my brain fart here. Oh, goodness. Oh, zip codes. I made a mention earlier about the zip codes, and one of the things about doing things tax per Q is showing them that you're an American national, okay? And an American national uses exempt zip codes. Now, there's been a little discussion about the showing the zip code as exempt by using 9999 or 9998. And again, when we talk about numbers that somebody else uses as a code, then it is not our language. It is a foreign language. So when you want to do your addresses and you put down without the put down the town and the state, and then the zip code, instead of putting the zip code, and you want to let them know that it's exempt, instead of using their numbers, just put zip exempt. Otherwise, you're sitting there trying to read up all the. You already know English. You already know you're exempt. So just put zip exempt. That's common English. And if it ever goes to court, it's supposed to be on one-to-one communication. And they try to bring in their codes and say, well, according to this code, well, that's just like them bringing into court their state statutes. That doesn't apply to you. Quit using them. Use common English in everything you do. Okay? So understand that. The zip exempt codes that they use for as far as 9999 for commercial entities and 9998 for private entities, those are entities of corporations. Those are corporate entities. If you're in your private capacity as a man, you don't use that. You use common English. Okay? Now, when it comes to tax per Q, I can't remember the exact codes. Carla, help me here. 721.4 or something like that of the UPU, and 721.2 or Carla will put those in the comments here, I'm sure. But there are codes within the Uniform Postal Union, Uniform Postal Regulations that tell us all of this information that we can send this stuff free because we are not part of that entity. We are a foreign jurisdiction, okay? And that means that they don't have there it is, 721.1 and 721.2. Look those codes up, read them, comprehend them, and when you do your tax per Q, right up here in the top corner, is where you're going to state those. You're going to Carla's going to post some pictures in the video comments below when we get done with the video, and marking postage page 742.1 and she's going to post pictures that'll show all of this clearly on there, and I believe she has some I think they're Title 18 codes that will be put down there as well. And basically, what we're talking about here is we're tired of getting ripped off. We're tired of the indoctrination. And so people have to learn this stuff and learn how to use it. Not just learn it, but learn how to use it. And like I said, if you're going to be putting stuff on these envelopes and putting stuff down like in your address thing for the zip code and using their codes, you're not using it correctly. You're still using their codes. Use it in the common English language and only use their codes for references. Okay? So when you do the zip exempt, put zip exempt, refer to UPU code, zip code referring 9999 or whatever. Or like she's putting here, 18 USC code 1701, obstruction of mails generally. And that's what it's all about. They're obstructing your mail by charging you. And that's fraud. And it's fraud right on the face. That's prima facie evidence of fraud right there, people. They give no consideration while trying to contract with no address and no known sender. That's fraud. Period. So understand this stuff, and I'm sorry I couldn't get Carla on here so she could explain from her end a little bit better, but basically everything we're discussing here tonight, I'm sure this is going to be one of those posts that's going to have a lot of comments, and I'm going to leave it on the top of my page. Yeah, Carla's going to show you the certified mail return receipts and everything. This is where we're going to understand that when they try to make us pay for postage, they're committing fraud. As an American national, you are not required to pay postage. And then when they turn around and send you stuff without abiding by the forms of notice, Uniform Commercial Code talks about notice, and when they notice somebody, you have to notice them who you are. And that's under the international law of the flag that tells us that who is approaching us and what reason they're approaching us under. So when we go into these courts and we see that admiralty, that military flag with the gold fringe around it instead of just the bare plain United States flag, that's telling us we're in a military venue. That's telling us they're committing commercial acts under a military venue. So understand that. I hope people understand how to read this stuff. And like I said, I'll post a picture of this in another post right above this video. So learn this stuff, people. And like I tell you all the time, quit believing your government. And like I don't want you believing your government, I don't want you believing me either. That's why I do this stuff and put this information out there so you can go research it yourself. Okay? So like when I explained to you percue, just put in your search engine, percue English translation, and it will tell you what it means. Okay? Carla, what is RRR? Yes, and understand, people, when we're able to take back our power and realize how to stand up for ourselves, we are supposed to be educators. We're supposed to be educating our own children and teaching our own children how to be the postmaster, how to judge for ourselves, carry our court. And remember, the postmaster is a jurisdictional transfer. He is the port master. Anytime he wants to port something, he is the port master. That's where we see the maritime ports. He is the port master. Okay, registered return receipt. Okay. So we need to become educators again and start teaching our own children. We need to teach them how to be their own port master. Okay. We need to teach them how to judge for themselves and carry their own court. And we have to teach them how to be banks. We are the bank. We are the damn creditor. Understand this stuff, people. Those four elements is what's been taken over in our lives over the last decades and centuries, and that's what we need to recoup. We're already, and understand, people think there's three branches of government: executive, judicial, and legislative. Understand, that is true. There's three branches of government, but we the people are the trunk. Without the root of the people, there would be no government. Period. So understand this stuff and get to your duty. It's your duty to stand up for your rights. It's your responsibility. You have no rights unless you know how to take responsibility for them. Understand this stuff, people. Please. I can't do it alone. And I understand the numbers are growing, but we got to get them growing faster. Faster. Education is key. So please understand this stuff and get the word out. Please. In the meantime, I wouldn't have been doing this stuff if it weren't for you people. God bless you. I love you. Have a great night. Carla.